And now, the For Pete's Sake podcast, hosted by Rob Blackman and Joey Mulinaro.
And welcome everyone to For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics, episode 14. It's our final episode of the athletic season. And you know what? We thought, let's take this show on the road. And here we are, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joey, how awesome is this?
It doesn't get much better. No place you'd rather be, really in general, but especially race week. A Monday, starting off race week the right way, and we got a big one.
It's the Monday leading into the Indianapolis 500, the 110th running of the Indy 500. And what do we have lined up for you? Well, it's very Purdue eccentric, as you probably thought it would be. We have joining us later in the show, Derek Davidson. He's the team manager for ECR. That's at Carpenter Racing, for those not familiar with IndyCar racing. And Nathan O'Rourke, who is one of the lead engineers for Andretti Racing. He is going to join us. The reason they're joining us, they're both Purdue grads.
Had to. Makes sense, right? I mean, what else are we doing here? We didn't just come out here for nothing. So we got the Purdue grads, and then also we have the opposite of a Purdue grad. We have an IU grad. Believe it or not, an IU grad is going to be joining us on For Pete's Sake. But with good reason. Connor Hitchcock, the CEO of Homefield Apparel. That's what I'm wearing here. That's what I'm wearing here. We have the Homefield Spotlight that we've had since, January, February. Second half of the season we've had that. So we're going to bring him on. He's a local guy. He obviously has tons of ties to IMS, tons of ties to Indiana, and now getting even more ties with Purdue. So we'll have some friendly banter back and forth, I think, about the rivalry, because there's only one school that's got the Governor's Cup.
That's right.
And that resides in West Lafayette, Indiana, and Purdue University. So he'll be on, chatting up with us and having some fun.
What is the Governor's Cup, you say? Well, we'll tell you in just a little bit, because our Lafayette Limo segment is coming up. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight at today at the world's greatest race course. And we thank you for making us a part of your day / evening / overnight, whenever you might be watching or listening.
In your race week.
Your race, I should have said it that
All
way.
together.
Thank you for making us a part of your race week. We are all revved up and ready to go on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Lafayette Limo Liftoff segment is coming up next. Well, I've made this walk many a time.
Following the man of the pits, the pit man, pit reporter, and a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
It's normal as a strategist on the pit stand. You know what I'm talking about. Because I just can't talk to racer, he's in the car.
Yeah, exactly. They probably have a pretty good understanding.
Yes, and it says IndyCar Radio on the mic flag. So I literally just pointed the mic flag, and they're like, yeah, come on. Most of them.
You get shoved out of the way by the TV people?
Well, yes, but the rule of thumb is TV always gets first dibs. So if TV's in front of you, they get to go first. And welcome back, everyone, to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we have taken the show on the road. Episode 14 of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Final show of the athletic season is remote. We're glad you've chosen to join us. Our program today, the way it has been all year long, brought to you by Tom Wood Automotive Group. We thank them for their sponsorship. And we introduce you now to the Lafayette Limo segment. Lafayette Limo Liftoff segment, that is. Family-owned, women-owned, serving Greater Lafayette for over 38 years. Shuttles to and from Indianapolis Airport and O'Hare Airport, 365 days a year. Make your reservations now at LafayetteLimo.com. Lafayette Limo, proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. Lots to talk about with our spring sports, although most of them starting to wrap up now that we're here into the middle portion of the month of May. Softball team season has come to an end. 34 wins for them, most wins since 2019. They had 6 players named All Big Ten, a lot of them underclassmen, so that's good news for Purdue. Obviously, a chance for those players to come back and play again next year for the Boilermakers. Freshman Anna Moore, first team All Big Ten. Junior Mariah Poehler, first team All Big Ten. She led the nation in base hits, you know, so you should be first team All League if you lead the country in hits. Haley Painter was named first team All Big Ten. Chloe Banks, All Defensive Team. Kylie Franks, All Defensive Team. And Emma Bailey, our sportsmanship honoree. By the way, quick note on Mariah Poehler. Congratulations to her. She was named the Purdue Student Athlete of the Year on the female side, the Ricks Family Purdue Student Athlete of the Year, as representing the Purdue student athletes who are females. Braden Smith is a repeat winner for the male
What do you know? Braden Smith cleaning up again. Another one to add to the case.
He won it last year. He wins it again this year. Baseball team, good luck to them as we're taping this broadcast. They're getting ready for Big Ten tournament play in Omaha, Nebraska. Purdue is the 5 seed in baseball. Not too shabby for a team that was predicted to finish dead to last in the Big Ten standings. So good job, Coach Goff. Boy, baseball Boilermakers this week. They are in Omaha, Big Ten tournament play. 35 wins for them, by the way, this year. What else do I have for you? Men's golf team. Their season is over. They were the 8th seed in the men's, I'm begging pardon, their postseason is beginning this week. They're the 8th seed in the NCAA regional. They're out in Oregon State from Monday through Wednesday. Women's golf team, their season is over. It concluded with the NCAA regionals in Tallahassee last week. And congratulations to Lauren Temp. She finishes a team best 23rd for the Boilermakers in the regional. Lastly, outdoor track and field Big Ten championships just concluded this past weekend. The men finished 11th. Praze Anamaka is the triple jump champion in the Big Ten. Only the 3rd time in his career he's won the Big Ten in the triple jump. Women finished 9th in the Big Ten outdoor championships. So congratulations to them. One last note, the Governor's Cup.
There we go. Saving the best for last.
For the first time since 2017, 2018. For those that do not know, the Governor's Cup is basically it's a running tally. Purdue, IU, head-to-head competition in every sport throughout the entire year. If you win in the head-to-head competition, you're granted 1 point. 1 point. Purdue beats Indiana this year, and the Governor's Cup standings 10.5 to 9.5. The Boilermakers win the Governor's Cup.
The track team brought that home, right?
That's right. Men's and women's track.
They were the decider.
Finishing better than IU in the outdoor championships sealed the deal for the Boilermakers.
There we go. Big congrats. Love it. Ending the year strong. We got Dave Calabro in our ear now. Got to talk over Dave. Hey, race fans. Great to see ya.
Dave Calabro, the track announcer out here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Indiana legend there, Indiana legend. All right, Rob. You have something else you get into?
Well, I did want to mention this.
Yep.
All season long, our big interview segment has been brought to you by Ford and your Central Indiana Ford dealers.
Yes.
Proud sponsor of Purdue Athletics. Visit your local Central Indiana Ford dealer today. We're going to have a few guests coming up here in just a little bit representing IndyCar race teams. And, well, because Ford isn't the engine manufacturer for their race teams, we didn't want to step on any toes. But Ford, thank you for what you provided for us all season long.
Cool. Thank you, Ford. And we're going to get ready to talk to Connor Hitchcock of Homefield. Right?
He comes up in a bit. We still have Derek Davidson.
Yes.
And we still have Nathan
O'Rourke.
Thinking all the famous Boilermakers that are out here. And also, by the way, before we end this segment and bring on Derek Davidson, Indy 500 predictions. What are you thinking, man? Well, I mean, we're at the home of the world's greatest race.
My prediction is Alexander Rossi. 10th anniversary of his one and only win in the Indy 500. 100th to 110. Rossi starting second. His car's been great all month. Fast, looked incredible on pole day. And I think Rossi's finally going to get it done. He's been in the top 4 a bunch of times, finished second, been close, and he's going to do it again.
The perfect segue, because my partner knows our next guest is with ECR. That's who Alexander Rossi drives for. He is Derek Davidson. He's a proud Purdue alum. He joins us next. This is For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics.
All right, a little garage walk. See what's going on before practice.
Oh yeah, Dario Franchitti.
No, I thought it was. It's not.
Oh, it was not. Oh,
looked like
it does look like it from behind. The long flowing black locks.
Dario Franchitti, most Italian sounding Scottish ever. This stuff always cracks me up because I always try to imagine in our line of work or in any other line of work if people were just coming up and watching it like they were zoo animals while you were doing it.
Like you're in the animal in the zoo cage, yes.
It's got to be an interesting dynamic.
They just, people just stare at you.
Yeah. Well, Lucas looks strong. He'll start in the front row.
Yeah, David Malukas has had a nice year. Made the switch to Penske.
Yep.
And welcome back, everyone, to the world's greatest race course. How about it? Rob Blackman, Joey Mulinaro, we've decided to take the show on the road. It's For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and as promised, a Purdue grad about to join us. His name, Derek Davidson. He's with ECR. He's the team manager for ECR. That acronym, Ed Carpenter Racing, for those that aren't maybe as familiar with IndyCar racing. Derek, as I mentioned, is not only a Purdue graduate, but he's also pretty important in the world of automobile racing, especially open wheel racing. So we're happy he can give us a few minutes on what is a busy Monday here. We're taping this on a Monday, the day following what was Indy 500 qualifying on Sunday. And I'm bringing all of this up because yesterday, Derek, a guy that's pretty important to your race team, Alexander Rossi, ended up on the front row, qualifying second. So I'll be in the middle of row number 1 from the Indianapolis 500 coming up on Sunday. Congratulations, and let's start right there. You guys had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, it was a great day. We've been feeling pretty confident all week. Alex has been good in both qualifying and race trim, so it's been a really good week so far. And then, yesterday was a little bit bittersweet because I thought we had a really good shot at the pole. So, but second's pretty awesome, so we'll take it.
Well, and Ed Carpenter also is in the top 5 rows, as is Christian Rashby.
Yep.
Again, for those not familiar with IndyCar racing, those are the 3 team members for ECR. All 3 will start in the front 5 rows. Overall, a great day for ECR.
Yeah, we were a little disappointed in Ed and Christian's runs. They've been quicker than that, so it just missed the balance on one car and just didn't get what we thought we could out of them. We thought we had 3 really fast cars, but we still have good race cars, and Sunday's the chance to show that, so we'll see what happens.
Derek, I want to come back to all this Indy 500 talk in a bit, but have to go back in the time machine here. Harrison grad.
Yep.
Purdue grad, 1994.
Yep.
So from the area. Is this always what you wanted to do? Was this what you wanted to work in the Indy 500 and with race car teams?
I came here in '82 just as a spectator, and I watched the closest finish at that time between John Cock and Mears, and I turned to my dad and I said, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I want to be involved in this." And long story short, through some go-kart racing and whatnot, I ended up just working my way up the ladder, and actually was driving sprint cars for a living for about 11 years, and always knew my heart was at this place and I wanted to be here, and couldn't get a ride in an Indy car, so I started as a mechanic in 2005 and just worked my way up. But the whole time when I went to Purdue, I went for communications at the time, which was for advertising. It was a concentration in advertising, and the whole time it was to be either a team manager or team owner. And back then in the 90s, the team managers were also part of the sponsorship group, so that was kind of why I did that. And I had a business management minor, so you learn the team management aspect of it, and so it all kind of comes full circle. I went to school for communications and got into the racing world. Most people would think you'd be a mechanical engineer or whatever, but I had a different way to go about it. I wanted to do a different thing. I didn't want to engineer a car. I wanted to be on the management side. So it's all worked out really well for me. I love this place. I love coming here every day, and I've had a ton of heartache here, man. I've been here I've been here 21 years, and not every day is a good day.
So that's it. Everybody thinks though, when you're going to go to Purdue, you're going to go to engineering, it's going to open up to be able to work on the race cars and things of that nature. And that's not what you did.
No, I wanted to be on the management side. Yeah. Obviously I wanted to be a driver.
Sure.
Didn't work out. I still wanted to win the race regardless. Whether it was a mechanic or whatever, and fortunately in 2020 got to do that with Takuma Sato, and it's just every day I love coming to this place. I get goosebumps on race day still, and I've done it 21 times.
Love it.
You made a great comment, Derek, talking about the heartache of this place. Again, for those that don't follow IndyCar or racing closely, last year Alexander Rossi, who Derek actually serves as his strategist, so he's on the pit stand in communications at all time with Alexander Rossi as he's driving the car. Last year, unfortunately, it was a very bad day for Alexander Rossi, as you well know. Not only do we have a mechanical failure, his car catches on fire, and once he brought it back into the pit box. So literally, the heartache was experienced last year with Alexander. Now we're basically 365 days later, and now he's on the front row.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like to see both ends of it.
Yeah, and it's as they say in racing, there's one way to win and a million ways to lose, and that was an example of that last year. So it's just there's so many details that go into it. It's not just seeing the car go around the track, but it's the pit equipment maintenance, and there's so many facets of this industry that people don't even have a clue about. That affect your day.
You mentioned your path to IndyCar racing is pretty unconventional.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of folks right now in the paddock with all the different race teams that have come through the Purdue, what is now a motorsports engineering program.
Yep.
That has to be pretty cool to know that you got all these Purdue folks walking up and down the paddock here at IMS.
Yeah, just the good engineers came from Purdue. But,
That's what I like to hear.
and a lot of them are my friends and acquaintances, and I think you're going to have Nathan on later. And yeah, Nathan and I are good friends. So yeah, it's yeah.
Is there a boiler ball group chat amongst the other engineers that work across the paddock?
No, I'm not involved.
Crossing
There
those
may
lines?
be. I'm not involved in any of those.
Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
What about working for Ed Carpenter, a Butler grad? Please
Yeah.
tell me there's we have some friendly conversations about the Butler Bulldogs and the Purdue Boilermakers.
Yeah, no, I don't know that there's really much banter about that, but a lot of IU people that give us a hard time, but yeah.
What is it like working with Alexander Rossi? He seems I've gotten lucky to know him. Well, how is he on the communication during the race? Because he can be kind of a prickly pear every now and then, and I imagine he's pretty in the heat of the moment during a race.
Yeah, actually, I just started in September, I think, with ECR.
Okay.
So I don't know it very well. And then Ed calls his races. Ed Carpenter calls his races up until now, but with Ed driving, that's why I'm taking over for this race. But I've been in his pit box all season, and Alex is he's pretty calm, which is surprising. I've been around more drivers that when things go wrong, they're way more emotional and a little harder on people, and he seems to be very calm and has a lot of experience, and he's got a lot of maturity as a driver.
So he's from California, so he's California
cool.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
That's what they say.
All right, so you have to share some of your Purdue memories when you were on campus as a Purdue student.
I told Bree I didn't think I could share these, but
Actually, we're a podcast. You can talk about whatever you want. Actually.
honestly, growing up in Lafayette, I spent a lot of time on campus when my sister was going there. She went there, she got a degree in biochemistry, and she's actually now going to turn into Eli Lilly. But we probably did some underage stuff that wasn't allowed, and she took my best friend from high school, and we partied over there all the time. But
Nice.
yeah, no, I did all of that stuff, and then sold sodas at the Purdue football games, and walking up and down Ross-Ade, I did that whole deal, and worked at concession stands and stuff like that as a high schooler. So yeah, no, it's I grew up mainly a basketball fan, you know, and then when I went to school, Matt Painter was actually playing.
Yeah. Right.
And so.
Did you ever run into him on campus? Have any classes with him?
No, had Porter Roberts in class. That was one kid that I had in class, and then I had a couple football players, but I couldn't remember who they were.
Sure.
That's like 30-some years ago.
Yeah.
All right, all time, since you grew up, obviously right there in West Lafayette, all-time favorite Purdue basketball player?
25. Gosh dang, I was trying to think of his name. Is it Steve Reed?
Steve Reed.
Okay, yeah, because he was a short guy, and I played basketball in high school, and I was always the shortest kid on team. So yeah, I would say Steve Reed was who I kind of looked up to as a kid, and then Dave Barrett was one also. He was a Lafayette kid. Yep, and then Conzo Martin, I always liked him.
Yeah.
And then probably Glenn Robinson. He was there when I was there, so yeah.
Nice.
So Mike, you'll be familiar with my longtime radio broadcast partner from basketball, Larry Clisby. This passed away, unfortunately, 4 years ago. But his all-time favorite Purdue player, he would tell you, was Steve Reed. So it's awesome to hear you say that.
Yeah.
West Lafayette, was it Purdue all the way? Did you consider any other stuff?
Nope. No, we were bleeding black and gold back then. Yeah.
Nice.
I love to hear that.
Nice. All right, I need to ask about all-time favorite Purdue football player.
Probably Drew Brees. He was after I was there, but before him, probably Jim Everett. Drew Brees.
Yeah. So, all right, Derek. So for potential future Boilers, kids who are trying to make the decision of where to go, why to go there, what's your pitch for Purdue if they want to get involved in a place like this and in a sport like this?
It's probably one of the best engineering schools in the country. They have the motorsports program. It's just I don't know. I mean, I'm not really a salesman, but it's there's a lot of the good engineers, and I was making a joke about that, but in all honesty, the good engineers in the paddock are from Purdue. So, yeah.
Some of the best jokes have truth to them. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Derek, thank you.
All right.
It's a very, very busy week
Yeah,
for you.
thank you.
Good luck Sunday in the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500.
All right, I appreciate it.
It's kind of you to join us, and more importantly, it's great to have the Boilermaker with us. So
right,
thank you.
I'm
thank
pulling for you.
All right, thank you.
Still more to come here on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. As you heard Derek mention, we are going to visit with another Purdue grad / engineer / bigwig in open wheel racing. That is coming up, so stay with us. One of the other things that makes IndyCar very similar to Purdue Athletics, the loyalty the race fans have for their particular racing driver or team, right? Just like Purdue fans.
Yeah.
So loyal.
To this place as an institution itself. So not even if it is,
Yeah.
it is a part of the team.
Hey,
yeah,
boiler
boiler
up.
up. There we go. You do have your teams or your drivers, but I think pretty similarly to Purdue, in my experience, is the university, it's the place, it's the people, just like at IMS, it's the institution.
Yeah, yes. Welcome back, everyone, to For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. I want to thank again Derek Davidson for giving us a few minutes of his time. When we were going to our break, we said, you know what, we're just going to keep it rolling here with important Purdue folks here in the world of IndyCar racing, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Nathan O'Rourke with Andretti Racing is about to join us. He is one of the lead engineers, their IndyCar development engineer, as a matter of fact, for Andretti Racing. He is a Purdue graduate. He's a Westfield resident, and he's also, well, with one of the best race teams in all the world in Andretti. So we'll let that serve as your introduction, Nathan. Thank you for joining us. And boiler up. How good does it feel to sit around and just talk a little Purdue stuff for a while?
Yeah, boiler up. It's great to be here. Yeah, it's good to get a good Boilermaker break after just thinking about race cars for the last couple weeks. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
What, and you said you graduated 04, right?
From Purdue in 04. Yep, I actually went to Yorktown High School here in Indiana, so,
So you're all
never been
around
far
there.
from the racetrack one way or the other, whether it's an hour away in Muncie or an hour away in Purdue.
Now, I asked Derek this. Did you always know that this is the world that you wanted to be in, racing?
No, it's kind of funny. You know, I fell in love with all this right over there. You can see it from here. The turn 3, it used to be stand L, stand M. That's where we used to sit. I attended my first race in 1984 when I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it kind of, at that point, it was super clear to me that this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it still is. Like, still get that feeling when I drove in here this morning that I did that long ago when I was a
How
kid.
brave of your parents for bringing a 3-year-old out to the
It's
Indy
funny,
500.
you know, my dad, you know, he's a calm guy, but when people mess with his kids, he doesn't like it too much. And I had a few beers spilled on me over there as a 3- and 4-year-old, which
Yeah,
he didn't
I
take too kindly to. But
I've got a 3- and a 2-year-old, and I told Rob they've seen the last of the track for the month. They're not coming back out here. They've
yeah,
had
to be
enough.
fair, they did a good job of shielding me in most of those types of things. But they did a good job of turning me into a race fan for sure.
There we go.
All right, so a guy who grows up in Yorktown, was it Purdue all the way? Were there other schools on your radar? Why Purdue ultimately?
It's kind of funny. Like I knew I loved racing. I've started racing go-karts when I was like 11, 12 years old, and spent some time racing with a lot of the people who ended up racing here, which is pretty cool. That was kind of always my dream, honestly, was to become a driver. But racing go-karts through high school, you know, one of the reasons why I thought about Purdue was the Purdue Grand Prix, to be honest. Like, oh, there's a cool college. I love math and science. I love using math and science to solve problems. That's what engineers do.
Yeah.
They have a go-kart race at Purdue. That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just made sense at the time. I didn't really know, honestly, when I went to Purdue that people got paid to work on Indy cars. So, like, I just thought it was, oh, they must just be having fun, right?
A pleasant surprise.
Did
Yeah.
you participate in the Grand Prix? Did you drive?
I did, yeah, all 4 years. Never won. Finished second, finished 8th, and a couple DNFs, but it was a good time for
There
sure.
you go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
But that, yeah, kind of it wasn't, no, to answer your question, I always liked Purdue, but it was, you know, growing up in Indiana, I was a racing guy, and okay, if you're going to be an engineer, that's the place to go. So
you said 84 was your first one. Have you been back every year since?
every year since, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's when the love affair began. And it
Now,
was-
do you differentiate from the time when you were just here as a fan? Is there like a hard line in the sand from the time when you're here as a fan to all of a sudden now it's work?
It is, and it's a weird transition you have to make. You try to remove yourself from the motion of it because you have a job to do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you know, lots of people say that, but when definitely race day morning, I kind of shield myself from that. I'm like, okay, this is a really important job to do. Stay focused, stay locked in. But then back home again in Indiana, and it comes on. It's like, man, it's hard not to feel.
You start crying like me over there.
I try my best. I've like, okay, I don't hear that right now. I need to focus on, make sure the car is ready. But it's a hard thing to separate sometimes. But it's not. You shouldn't have to separate it either. Like that's part of what makes me, continue to love doing it. Is that it does mean a lot. So.
Right.
It's been a pretty good year for Andretti Global. Now, I know Kyle Kirkwood doesn't have an ideal starting position for the Indy 500 coming up Sunday, but he is second in the overall point standings. Will Power came on board with you guys this year. Marcus Ericsson obviously has run strong over the years at the Indy 500. I'm assuming Andretti Global feels pretty good about your chances coming into Sunday?
We do. Like, obviously this weekend was a huge disappointment. We put a lot of work into trying to make sure we have fast cars for qualifying, and to be fair, sometimes it just doesn't work out. You see that with a lot of teams. We're not beating ourselves up too much. I think, as we'll see today, we have three really good race cars, guys that can pass. Kyle's looked really good in race running all week. All three cars have. So I think we're comfortable with being able to move forward, but only one way to go from here, I would say. But
Can you take a lot of solace out of that when you look at, okay, our qualifying speed may not have been there, but then you look back on how they run in traffic already this week, or in practice week and everything? Like, how much is that or how much are you able to kind of fall back on that and take solace of, hey, once we get out there in the big show, we can move forward even though our speed wasn't quite there when you're doing your 4 laps?
Yeah, a ton of solace. I don't think, obviously we lost some sleep last night because there was so much effort put into doing well. When you don't do a good job, that hurts, but huge amount of solace to answer your question. I think that's why we're here, is the race. Like, you're always going to remember who won the race. You're not going to remember necessarily you qualified in the top 10 or whether you started 18th.
Well, and you've been with Andretti since 2013, you said, right?
Yes.
So 2016, you were there for a perfect example with Alexander Rossi of anything could happen. You kind of go off strategy a little bit, you pull something out of your hat, and then all of a sudden you're drinking the milk. So
sure. And
you've been a part of that experience.
Sure, and that's where most of our focus is during the week, is making sure that we have good cars that can follow close to other cars, be in a position to make passes. I think right now race day is looking like it's going to be pretty warm. Yeah. Today is going to be, I think, difficult conditions for sure. It's hot, humid. And that's kind of when you find out who. I think today will be a good indicator of who's going to be competitive in the race. But that's, to answer your question, that's where we put most of our focus. And I think despite yesterday, we can have a lot of confidence that we're in a good position to move forward.
And to help some of our listeners/viewers, what Nathan's referring to, we're taping this on a Monday. The Monday following qualifying. Monday, there's a 2-hour practice window for all the teams to get out and basically shake down the cars one more time before carb day on Friday. So this is a really important window today, this 2-hour window on this Monday at IMS, which is why we're very appreciative that Nathan O'Rourke has given us a couple minutes, because it's a busy day, I can promise you, in the paddock. Speaking of the paddock, we asked Derek this too, Derek Davidson, who was on still a bit ago. What's it like to have a whole bunch of Purdue grads and Purdue engineers walking up and down the paddock? Different race teams, obviously, but you all share the allegiance to the Purdue Boilermakers.
Yeah, it's really awesome, but it's also not surprising. I'd say my story is not uncommon. It's not surprising that somebody like me ended up at Purdue, right? With an engineering mind like that, loving math and science, loving race cars. It's one of the most natural fits for a guy from Indiana. So as you kind of feel like you're not out there, like we're not all wearing Purdue shirts, right? So like you kind of have to. You're a Purdue guy, aren't you? Right? And you kind of find out through other people sometimes, or even honestly, Purdue's been doing a good job of highlighting a lot of alumni the last few years, including myself. But you kind of, even through that, I found out, wow, I didn't know that she was a Boilermaker or he was a Boilermaker. So
right.
It's really cool sharing stories, and it's funny. Like, you think you have a really unique, cool story, and then you go walk around here, and I think there's a lot of people honestly just like me.
That's music to Purdue folks' ears, though. It's great to hear. While you were there, favorite Purdue athlete?
Yep.
Favorite game that you attended? Could be any sport.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I was there during the Drew Brees era, so that's an easy one. Like the sort of golden era of Purdue football.
There you go.
So that was any Saturday in the fall at Purdue. They all blend together at this point.
And Brees was your guy.
And he was. I mean, how could he not be? And honestly, after him, it was Kyle Orton. We had a couple good years. Like that was a great era of Purdue football.
Totally.
And obviously huge. KD was coaching back then. Just all the KD night games. Oh my gosh! Like even when neither one of the teams were particularly competitive, like that was always just something that you'll remember forever. And going to those games even in high school as a Purdue fan.
Sure.
But yeah, it was a good era.
Sorry, I mentioned off the top that you now live in Westfield. So I can only assume huge Braden Smith fan, yes?
Oh yeah, for sure. And honestly, my youngest son, he's in 6th grade now, going into 7th grade. But Braden's brother's just 2 years older than him, and their family's involved with so many of the basketball programs locally. And yeah, he's given kids like my son and he's a great role model for them, just to see like. Yeah. He's not particularly. Everybody gives him crap about how short he is. Like I'm talking about, hey, you don't have. Maybe you're not going to be 6'2", but like you can still make a big impact. And he's really, for me, help teach my kids, like understanding what your role is and how can you contribute to the game. And I think nobody knows that better than he does. So
yeah. Did you go to the Rose Bowl?
No, I didn't. My wife did. My wife went to Purdue, and
mine too.
She was able to go. Okay, yeah. She went, and yeah.
So I married up, and you married up as well.
Yeah,
but you were there part of it, and I was just the schmuck who couldn't get in.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't make it, but yeah.
Any great Purdue stories when you were a student that you can share for a family-friendly show?
Family-friendly. Honestly, I would say we brought it up, but Purdue Grand Prix was like kind of my favorite extracurricular. As an engineer, we spend so much time studying, and I'm smart, but I wasn't like so smart that I didn't have to work hard. So like I was pretty much on campus from 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. So nothing too exciting.
For a guy like you, the motorsports engineering program at Purdue was not around, obviously, when you were a student, but now that's available for young people. I mean, what a cool thing, right?
I love it. I love seeing how it's evolved, and the motorsports engineering component to it. We've gotten so many young Purdue interns, graduates that have ended up at Andretti besides myself. But back then it wasn't clear to me at all. I didn't go to Purdue to become a motorsports engineer.
Sure.
It just kind of, I learned about an internship, not necessarily through the school, but there wasn't a really good pipeline back then for engineering students to get involved with motorsports. Yeah. And to be quite honest, like back then, the pay wasn't worth it either. Like all my friends ended up out of college were making 3 times more money than I was. But
we're talking to 2 radio guys here, so we hear you and we feel your pain on that front.
But it's more just like, hey, I'm going to GE or I'm going to Lockheed, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I'm gonna go work on race cars for $200 a week. Right?
But you love it, right?
And it all works out, right? And like that's a cool story to tell too. Like again, talking about kids, the younger generation, it's like go after something because you're passionate about it. Don't make I want to go do this job or that job just because I want to make lots of money. That's not that that's a bad reason, but finding something you're passionate about and like just letting it evolve and working hard at it. It's been a good way to go.
So, as someone who's made it in this field, is working successfully, has for a long time, for the young folks who are potentially your kids who are looking at schools potentially, what's your pitch for why Purdue?
I think just opportunities that it gives you. Like even now, it seems like such a better. Again, it's great when I went there, but like what you just said, like all the different pathways, and opportunities they have to get your foot in the door of actual industry. That was a huge thing that helped me. Was there even back then? I know they have it now. They've allowed me to step away. I actually stepped away from school for an entire calendar year to work in motorsports.
Oh wow!
After my sophomore year, so I spent 6 months working for. I don't know if you remember Reynard. They were a chassis manufacturer. I worked for them for 6 months as an intern, and then I worked for 6 months with Pac West, which was a Champ Car racing team at the time.
And that's not something that is common? Like other
It wasn't back then. I don't know if it's common now, but I tell you what it did do was like you find yourself in a fluid dynamics lecture, right? And before actually going out into the world and saying, okay, I can see where this might help me someday, you just think, oh, this is something I'm never going to use. And when I came back from working in the real world for a while, going back to Purdue, I was so much more focused on and I remember thinking at the time, what, if I hadn't gone and done that, I would not be listening to this lecture right now because I'd be saying, there's no way I'm ever going to have to use this.
There you go.
And you hear people saying that all the college students saying, I'm not going to need geometry, I'm not going to need calculus. Like, actually, you might, depending on which route you go. So I think that's some of the biggest advice I would give to kids now, and is like, hey, take the time to go out and talk to people, get internships, get apprenticeships, whatever it might be, so that you get an opportunity to understand why it's important to pay attention in those trickier classes.
Right.
But all right, so I have to ask, you're a young boy, you're in the stands, you're just soaking in the Indianapolis 500. Going back to that day or those days, would you in your wildest dreams have ever thought, one day I will be knee-deep into the Indianapolis 500, working for Andretti Global, part of the racing team that has a chance to win the most famous race in all of the world?
No, certainly not. And I've even, being close with Michael Andretti now. I even told him at the time, you know, watching you in the stands as a kid, I never would have in my wildest dreams thought you'd be my boss one day. Right. And I spent a lot of years as Marco's engineer with Michael as a strategist, and it was like all three of us on the stand. I even said at the time, like, man, I would have never guessed as a 4-year-old, you know, watching the race that this is how it's going to work out. So absolutely not.
And then it kind of continued with you because you worked with Colton Herta for so long. Then Brian was racing, and I'm sure you were a fan. And so the family lineage continues for you.
That's what was crazy about Colton, to be honest, is, you know, he was a little kid when I started working at Andretti. And
Yeah.
then he started driving Indy lights when he was 15, 16 years old, and I had become really good friends with Brian. So,
Yeah.
you know, watching him evolve, and like I was his race engineer from his first race on. So the win at COTA, you know, 18 years old,
Yeah.
first pole at Elkhart Lake when he was 18, it was like, man, this is just crazy. Like, you were a child.
Yeah. He was getting beer spilled on him.
Yeah, he was. Like, yeah, he was that guy like 2 years ago, and now you're winning IndyCar races. It's a wild evolution. It made me feel old for one thing. But.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, one last thing, we can't cut you loose without hearing your personal story. Away from racing, you do have other hobbies, including, we understand, you run a triathlon or an Ironman, or help me out here.
Yeah, and 2 months ago I did a half Ironman, which is, people's like, oh, you're an Ironman. Like, I'm not going to say that because I didn't do a full one, right? Like, but yeah, I competed ever since I was young. One of my goals was to compete in an Ironman triathlon. I'm hoping to do one by the end of the year, but that was the first step a couple months ago. But as I stepped off the road, as I stepped away from the race engineer job this year, I had a little bit more time not going to all the races. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. Let's give this a try. And so, yeah.
For you. Look, other than the biking, running, and swimming, I think I could do one of those.
I think we could call a mean triathlon. We could, you know, broadcast it. That'd be good at that. I could work on the pipes for that.
You guys would be great at that.
Nathan, you're very kind again on what's a very busy day to give us.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Great to meet you, man. Good luck.
Boilermakers with us, and great to see a Purdue grad having the success you've had.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to represent Purdue.
Absolutely. Nathan O'Rourke joining us there from Andretti Global. Hey, when you're at INS, you got to talk Boilermakers, you got to talk racing, and when you can combine the two, makes for a pretty good day. That's why we're having a great day right here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the world's greatest race course. This is, for Pete's sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics.
Rob living that radio track reporter life, even in the garages, gets bumped from TV.
So we can see everyone. I don't want to interrupt him. He's about to do a television interview. That's rookie Caio Collet in the white long sleeve, the racing suit. He races for AJ Foyt Racing. And again, the beauty of him, a true rookie getting his first crack at the Indianapolis 500. How cool is that?
That's basically it, though. You have the pass, you walk around the garages, you try to see some drivers, try to get some autographs. If you're in the media, you try to talk to them.
One of the great things about IndyCar, the access.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. All these fans can just walk in the garage area.
Again, yeah.
No one's
Love Coach Odom, but I don't think he's letting many fans walk around
We'll just walk
in the
through
locker room.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, but here in IndyCar, you just hobnob with the racing teams, the drivers.
If you're Rob Blackman, you get a changing room in the Purdue basketball area.
True.
So that's
true,
good.
True.
For Pete's sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics rolls on. We are on location, a remote show for our final episode of the athletics season. Rob Blackman, Joey Mulinaro, big thanks to Tom Wood Automotive Group being our title sponsor for all of these episodes you have seen this year. We also had a pretty significant sponsor hop on board with us midway through the season, and we're going to thank him literally, personally, on air. He is Connor Hitchcock, the CEO of Homefield Apparel. This is, Joey, our Homefield Apparel Spotlight segment.
It is, and who better than the founder himself, Connor Hitchcock. And how about it, folks? You can boo from behind the scenes in your car if you want. An Indiana graduate of 2016. Here we are, merging worlds. Thanks for being here, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me. You know, we get a lot of grief for being very forward about being a lot of IU fans starting this brand. So we had to sponsor the best Purdue podcast out there to show that we care about Purdue as well, and not just IU.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, I don't think I've even gotten to ask you this myself, but where, when, how did the idea come about for you? When did the ball get rolling for Homefield?
Yes, so it actually started because of Indiana football, which a lot of people, I'm sure many of your listeners don't believe any of us existed until 24 months ago, Indiana football fans. But when I was in college at Indiana, I had a side business that I had out of my apartment. I was screen printing just localized shirts, state of Indiana, Indianapolis, Bloomington type stuff.
Did it have the Homefield name yet, or was it just?
It was called Hoosier
Hitchcock?
Proud.
Hoosier, okay.
And so 30 or so boutiques in the state museum, a few places were carrying it. And then when Indiana played in the Pinstripe Bowl, my final year of school, 2015, 2016, I was a huge IU football fan because those teams were really fun. If you remember, those were the 5-7 Kevin Wilson teams that would score 50 but allow 60 type of teams. Yeah. And so I just loved them, and they made the bowl game, the Pinstripe Bowl. And look, I was born in 1994. Indiana didn't win a bowl game until the Rose Bowl this past year in my lifetime, right? Like there just wasn't any postseason success. They lose that game on a controversial call, a kick that looks like it was good. It was called no good. And I made a shirt based off of that kick. And it just said the kick was good. But it blew up on the Indiana internet, and a bunch of people bought it, and then it put me in front of IU licensing to get a license with Indiana. And so I was doing that on the side. As I was finishing up school, I had some IU licensing. Purdue was the second licensee or licensor that ever gave us a license, which was great. And so we were able to make some vintage Purdue stuff with this little side project out of my basement in Broad Ripple at this point. And then eventually we had enough success with it that my wife, Krista, who's also my co-founder, and we left our jobs in 2018 to roll 8 Indiana schools into what's now Homefield, which, we have 200 schools we're licensed with. But it all started with Indiana schools, so Purdue was school 2 for us.
So that's the idea behind the namesake, is that you were trying to keep it home in Indiana, and then now you're nationwide.
Absolutely, yeah. So it all started here. So even now today, in 2026, our office is just right across the street. We're on Gilman in Speedway, and so we love making great Purdue gear, great IU gear, a ton of schools, but even of course IMS gear as well.
So why Purdue? Well, I mean, you're an IU guy. What made you say, I think that Purdue market would be a good one to get tapped into?
Yeah, it's being around so many Purdue fans, and some of my best friends, actually my very closest friends. I have a group chat where I'm the sole Indiana guy, and they're all Purdue guys updating me on Purdue stuff all the time. But I'm highly aware of the passion for Purdue athletics that's here, and I mean, I'm sure you guys feel it sometimes. A lot of other brands or just entities in general, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, whomever, and you're sitting here saying, I'm a fan of a Big Ten institution that's one of the most successful men's basketball programs of all time, a great women's basketball program, some great football success too, right? That feels overlooked. And so sure, we'll make great stuff for Michigan and Ohio State, but for us I was there as an Indiana fan, I feel like my experience is being overlooked with apparel, and if that's the case, I'm sure others feel the same way. And so our whole ethos was to create thoughtful collegiate apparel, things that matter to a school or university. So like the shirt Joey's wearing, right? How many other brands nationally know that Purdue has a huge hand in what goes on here at the track?
The official band of the Indy 500.
Right, the band. I mean, so many Purdue grads on all these teams creating the engines, and so that for us was really it. We felt that there was so much in college that's unique to each school, and if I felt that as an IU fan, I'm sure hundreds of other fan bases felt the same.
So you've got this crazy success, 2018 to 2026 now. You've been riding it fully. You got the brick and mortar down in Bloomington.
Yes.
Do we have any other openings of a brick and mortar store where people can not just online, but could go in and pick it out themselves? Anything coming?
Yeah, we may have a couple coming this fall in different campus locations, different locales. We'll see where they are.
Any possibly in Indianapolis? Any possibly West Lafayette?
There may be some coming in this state. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I can't make any big announcements yet. Ink isn't dried on some of these, but ones we've been evaluating. And to that point, it's really fun to do things in person. We have here at the track every year we set up a booth for race weekend. So we got it this carb day through the race this year because there's just something to the going and experiencing sporting events that helps us create things that matter to the school. I mean, I go to Mackey a good bit. It's an incredible environment, and it's a very consistent environment.
Yes. Some
may criticize other arenas in the state that it's a front runner arena. It's only loud when they're good. But what I like about going to these environments like Mackey, the IMS, all these venues, doing things in person, you can really capture the spirit of what matters to people. And so that's why we love brick and mortar too. Yes, we'll sell more than we spend on something, and therefore as a business you make money, but we like being injected into the community.
I've got a really good idea for you for a shirt.
Yeah.
Ready?
Hit me.
2026 Governor Cup, Purdue 1, IU 0.
Really? So I've been so locked in on Indiana football, I was not even aware that Purdue won the Governor Cup.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I know Purdue brought home that Governor's Cup, baby.
This is my live reaction to learning that happened. Yeah, that's right, because we split both the basketballs.
Uh-huh.
We won football.
Yeah.
We're bad at baseball this year. Yeah, you guys
swept.
You swept. Yeah, you swept them on the Grand Slam too. Yeah.
You know who brought it home? It was a battle on the track. Not this track.
Was it
track
really?
and field. Yeah.
We lost in track and field.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Sure did, buddy.
What a big year for you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah, no,
That's huge.
it is very big. We are damn excited about it.
Let's
we sure
go.
are. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I will finish by saying this. We're damn excited that you came on board.
No doubt, seriously.
That is
No.
really cool for you guys to be a part of our team and be a big sponsor. You guys have provided some awesome swag that we've been able to give to our guests that have joined us on the show throughout the year. So thank you for that. That's been really
Yeah,
cool.
appreciate it. Appreciate you guys accepting an IU guy
Of course.
as a sponsor and coming here on your show.
I think this is what's great too, is what you're wearing though, like the IMS jacket and the Homefield IMS merch that I'm wearing here that you guys make is so great. I was lucky enough to do that ad for you guys to kick off the month of May, which was such an honor and a blast. But this is what's great about this place, is you can have IU, you can have Purdue, they come together and they celebrate all as people who are fans of the Indy 500, the greatest spectacle in racing, man. Yeah.
Well, let's enjoy a great week of racing, and thank you, Connor.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
fellas.
Connor Hitchcock joining us, the CEO and the founder of Homefield Apparel, one of our great sponsors we've had this year on For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. One more segment to go. Joey and I, it'll be emotional, but we're going to have to put the finishing touches on this first ever season of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. So please stay with us.
Got the Indianapolis Indians out here. Guess we didn't get the private tour of the dog and pony show. Love the Catherine Lake car. Every time my daughter sees it, she just goes, pink. Yeah, there's some pink.
How about 1,100 miles, hopefully, for her Sunday? That is wild.
Closing segment here, everyone, from the racing capital of the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. About time for us to put the finishing touches on not only our broadcast here today, but our entire season of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. Before we do that, I need to remind you, you can play championship golf at the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Enjoy great food and drinks at the new Pete Dye Clubhouse and shop official Purdue gear at the Purdue Pro Shop. Experience it all at PurdueGolf.com. Today, partner Derek Davidson, Nathan O'Rourke, Connor Hitchcock have joined us. We have taken the show on the road for the final show of the Purdue Athletics season. I feel like we don't do the show justice if we don't talk about what a great first year we have had, the inaugural year of the For Pete's Sake podcast.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure working with you. Really, really a lot of fun. I look forward to it every time that we get to. All the folks behind the scenes have been wonderful. And really, I mean, just what an honor it's been to represent Purdue Athletics, and, you know, even the smallest way possible here. Purdue means so much to me, so much of my life, my personal life. Wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Purdue. I truly believe that. So for allowing me to be a part of this community, being a part of this fan base, being a part of this university, really, really means the world to me, and I wear it as a huge, huge badge of honor. So thank you for following along all year, listening, watching, supporting the show, and allowing us to do this, Rob. And year two can't come soon enough. We're going to be talking Boiler football before you know it.
Yeah, it's crazy. We will be. I don't want to get all emotional here, but, you know, you're talking. I was thinking about that very first episode we had, and, oh, boy, it doesn't seem that long ago, but look where we are now.
Yeah, we made our way to the world's greatest race course doing 14 episodes. So there's truly more and more to come. We're going bigger and beyonder in year two. I'm putting that on Patrick, our executive producer. Love to make promises that I can't keep, but hopefully he has to. I'm looking forward to it.
Huge thank you to our sponsors, certainly Tom Wood Group. They were our lead sponsor all year long. Thank you, Tom Wood Group, for all that you have done for us here with the podcast, For Pete's Sake. A lot of thank yous to go around. We just mentioned Patrick Crawford, our executive producer. A huge thank you to him. Corey Palm has served as our producer all year long. Thank you, Corey. Brad Summer has been our director. Will Cabral working behind the scenes. Everything from building a set on campus to helping us get set up here today at IMS. Thanks to Rosie, who also has been working behind the scenes and has been a really huge factor for our success here at For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics. I guess that's the best way to wrap it up.
Well, before, real quick, I want to see, so you can't make a pick because you're covering the race.
Sure.
But what's your race day look like exactly for Boilers who will be out and about, maybe where they can see Rob Blackman on race day?
Okay, so I'll be on pit lane working for the IndyCar Radio Network. This will be my 8th year.
Congrats.
On pit lane with IndyCar Radio. Yes, if you want to see me specifically, like with your own two eyes, if you're at the race, I will be on the let me see. Let me give a south end of the race course, working pit boxes in that area. So, yeah, if you see me, I will say this. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I also work a lot out here in the month of May for the Grand Prix, the Sanzio Grand Prix, and qualifying. And you would not believe the number of people that will stop me either when I'm just walking amongst the fans or walking pit lane, and they give me a boiler up.
Love it.
A lot of Purdue fans will recognize me and give me the fist bump or boiler up. So thank you for that. Maybe I'll see you at the race Sunday. If not, it's certainly pretty cool to know that so many Purdue fans are out here and so many loyal Purdue Boilermakers recognize me and want to say hello. So that's pretty cool.
Our golf cart driver did this morning. He was very excited about
Our
it.
golf cart driver.
Class of 79. Whole family at Purdue, and he was so excited to see Rob, as everybody is. As for myself, I'm always at Grandstand B, right at the end of the pits, the outside, right at the end of the pits, right before turn 1. So you see me stumbling around there, I'm sure. Give me a boiler up as well, and we'll crack a beverage together and have some fun.
All right, so what do you say we do it again next year?
August, right?
Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. Now, don't want to wish the summer away, but I'm looking forward to it again, man. Yep,
You
been a
have
pleasure.
been watching the final episode, Season 1 of For Pete's Sake, the official podcast of Purdue Athletics.